Hey y'all, welcome back to Hopped Up Beer Review. Today we are drinking Telltale Heart IPA by PSA Brewery out of Baltimore, Maryland. Thank you for joining us.
Hey everybody, welcome to Hopped Up Beer Review, the show where we give you our unprofessional and somewhat biased opinion about the beer we are drinking and reviewing. We are back to do that again, and we have hopefully an interesting one tonight. Definitely appreciate you checking out this video. I've got Andy in the attic. I've got Jay. I am Ben. What are we drinking today, gentlemen?
Telltale Heart. It's interesting, and I've had it before.
It's Nipah.
It never skips a beat, according to the side of the can.
All right. It's an American IPA. 7.3%. 70 IBUs.
Wow, I have a bug in mine.
From the can or just flew in?
I'm guessing just flew in. He was green.
So there's a little debate over the brewery for this. I know in the intro you said PSA Brewing, and we can chat about that in a minute. Let's have a sip. Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
So the other instance of it, it says Baltimore-Washington.
Baltimore-Washington Beer Works.
Yeah.
Is what Untapped says.
Is that like a collective, maybe?
I was going to touch on that. But then I'll get into that. I'll go over the beer first. And hopefully it makes more sense. But the can, what it says, threw me off. It added another brewery. So I looked at that online. And then it added another name brewery. I don't know what's going on here. Anyway.
I mean, that's the theme of our show here. We don't know what's going on.
Just aimlessly going through the YouTube. This American IPA uses Bravo, Chinook, Citra, and Simcoe hops. And malts are 2-row pale, dark Munich, and caramalt. It provides us with the citrus flowery bouquet from the dry hopping. It's bouqueting. Ben's gone all neti pot.
You know, I only got one nostril that really works, so I have to get it in there.
Thank you, COVID. So here's where we are, Jay. I'm going to go with what I first found out, and then we'll go from there based on our discussion. Baltimore-Washington Beer Works. I wrote that down because that's when you log it on Untapped. That's what it claims it to be. Out of Baltimore, Maryland. It's a microbrewery founded in 1998, but it's also known as Raven Beer. So this was first conceived in the country of Luxembourg. There was a guy who was doing research in molecular biology and tried a lot of European beer, fell in love with it, and he decided to make a career change. And so he started writing about beer, and he tried to open a brewery in Belgium that failed or faltered, didn't really get off the ground. So then he formed the first Beer of the Month club in Europe called Beer Around the World. One of the suppliers to his Beer of the Month club was another importer of beer. And he reached out to him and asked if he wanted to make beer in Germany with an American marketing theme. He jumped at it and it's like, yes, so what's the American theme? The Raven. That's where they got Raven beer. Started in Germany, registered in Baltimore, and but the first beer was produced in Nagold, Germany. So the guy was also a fan of literature and, of course, Edgar Allan Poe. He was a big Poe fan. So that's why they went with that. In August of 2012, they formed a brewery partnership, the Beer Works, and to provide greater control of their business, of their production, as well as their distribution. And so now it is brewed in Baltimore. So they called it Raven beer. But then, Jay, as you said, on the can, PSA Brewery. So I did just a happy little Google search, PSA Brewery. The first thing that comes up is called Oliver Brewing Company in Baltimore, Maryland. I don't know what's going on here.
It could be one of those, and I've seen it in several cases where you have somebody that brews certain recipes for these breweries. In a lot of cases, they don't actually brew it; they farm it out, outsource it. They just send the recipe over and let somebody else do it. In some cases,
Yeah, and it's the same area code.
Yeah, the same, and they use the same formula across each of them. Now, there are differences when you end up with different waters and things like that, like we've all discussed. But the interesting part to me when I actually picked this up, and I got it just outside of, well, actually in the DC area, but they have a whole series on these, and the label is very, very cool. I like it. But this one being the Telltale Heart, they have another one called the Raven Stout, which has the Raven on there. They have another one called the Annabelle Lee. Um, so all based on Poe stories.
I mean,
Well,
the one thing I would say based on what you provided so far is, I mean, there is some discussion of late where Google suppresses or changes information, so it could be related to this too. I mean,
the
who
press
knows?
is keeping the man down. Should I look in
Yeah.
Safari then?
I mean, I would say maybe you want to try Bing next time just to make sure.
Oh, Bing.
Or
What was
Safari.
the other MSN search
I'm
engine?
sorry, no,
Cool.
no, no. You have to go with DuckDuck.
DuckDuckGo.
Yes, it keeps everything anonymous.
Like there was one called Cool. It was like was it KWL or CU? I can't remember what it was. There was another search engine that tried to get off the ground.
Web crawler or Ask Jeeves, I think is what you want to go back to.
Jeez.
Yes. So you heard it. You heard it here first.
A little bit of trivia. So when y'all think of Edgar Allan Poe, y'all associate him with the city of Baltimore. Do y'all know what city he was born in? Is it a
Delaware.
trick question? Delaware? The city of Delaware?
No,
Did you
not
just
the
say
city.
Delaware is the city?
No, I know Delaware's a state. I couldn't think of any
Geography
cities
boy Ben.
in Delaware at the time. No, I have no clue.
Just so y'all know, Ben's vote counts the same as ours. Boston, Massachusetts.
Boston,
Did not know
Delaware.
that. All right, that is all I've got to say about that. I bet I will appreciate the can art. I like it. Look down,
Cool.
little eyeballs under the floorboards. That beady eye from the Telltale Heart, the one eye got really to him, or the evil eye. Or I guess it's been so long since I've read that.
Yeah, this one's worth, I think, since we can do this, showing the full screen here.
Hey, I like that.
of the can art. It is super cool for sure.
Anything that gets Ben off the screen is great.
Yeah, it's one
Agreed.
that drew me in just because of the can art. I hadn't heard of it, and I was like, wow, that's kind of really cool.
Yeah,
So it was in a six pack that I picked up when I was traveling.
yeah. This is definitely one of those that jumps out at you, for sure.
And a lot of their labels have his mug on there, but they just kind of adjust it a
Mm-hmm.
little bit.
And I was wrong. It's the Raven Special Lager, not the Raven Stout.
All right. Jace had this one, as he noted before. Andy and I have not. I will go first because I'm just that nice of a guy. This one's interesting. This is where I throw the moniker up. You can see the splash on the screen that I never put up there. Not the IPA guy. I don't know where this one falls for me. It's going to be in the okay as an IPA stance. I mean, the can art is amazing. Love the can art. I too would buy this beer just for the can art because it's just not what you see on a lot of beers. It's so different. The beer itself, it has such a dry finish on the back end. It really, you want to take that next sip to kind of wet the whistle again. But I just find this one okay. I don't really pull anything special out of it. It's more that traditional IPA versus a hazy, so it's going to be something that I'm just okay with. I like it enough that if I get another one, I'm going to drink it. And so I'm not saying it's if you're an IPA person, this is probably one you're going to check out. I'm sure Andy and Jay will probably like it better than me, but it's just okay for me. I'm going to give it a 7.
That's
Andy,
not bad for you for just okay.
I mean, it's just okay.
I was expecting a 5.5 from you. The just okay.
No, I mean, it's drinkable. I would drink it again. It's an IPA. It's not anything that's blowing my socks off. So it's just okay.
But you're not wearing any socks.
I am. I just can't show you. I don't stretch that way. Sorry.
It is. It's a. When they say it's an American IPA, definitely classic American IPA. It's in the middle. You don't get the resiny dankness, the pine of the West Coast. It's not that juicy hazy. It is IPA, and it's bringing some decent bitter too. It's you get a little slight malt character, but you also get a mild citrus, and there's the Citra and Simcoe really help with that, and then a little bitter aftertaste. I think it's a very fine beer, well crafted, and I give it's a solid 7.5 for me. It's a easy to drink, and it's straight up American IPA.
Yep.
So just okay for me is straight up solid from you. So just if you're scoring at home,
yeah, your middle of the road is your 7.5, which is technically 3/4 of the way across the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. I mean, I'm not a math guy, so that fits.
Yep. Definitely not.
So yeah, I agree with you, Andy. This is a typical American IPA. I mean, there's nothing that wows you or just blows you away with it. It's easy drinking. It's solid, good quality. It's got an interesting mix between several hops and several malts. A lot to get to this character. Very, clear for the most part. There's not much haze there. You do have a good bit of bitterness. I think really more on the back end. I think it was 70 IBUs, so it's not light, which is the interesting part to me with Ben because I know the bitterness he doesn't really like. And that would be where it's just okay with him. But I agree. I mean, it's something I'll drink again. I love the can art, and can art on all of theirs are fantastic. So just for that reason alone, it was absolutely worth the purchase. And 7.5 is just where I sit right with this. I mean, it's a solid beer, like you said.
So I want to bring up something that you both mentioned, the bitterness. Like, I mean, I get a little bit of bitterness, but for me, it's not overly bitter. I mean, overly bitter to the point to where I would knock it down some on the score. I mean, again, it's bitter, but it's not overly bitter for me. It's being not the IPA guy who doesn't like bitter at all. I think
Well,
that's really interesting that y'all both said it was bitter, and so anyway, I'm just throwing that up.
It's got a little.
it's
It's okay.
bitter. Yeah, when it's on the backside, Ben, it's not that punch you in the mouth bitter on the front, and I think that's because it has the complexity of using several hops and several malts.
Yeah,
And
we're
that, I
not
guess,
saying
maybe alludes to
producing
the
bad.
yeah, and I think that alludes to the dryness that I was talking about. Maybe then,
Mhm.
maybe.
Well, or maybe you should come out and admit that you're becoming an IPA guy.
Yeah, finally converting you.
I mean, I think of the three of us, it's pretty safe to say I will not be the IPA guy. I mean, it's not like, Andy, you're all of a sudden going to be not the IPA guy of the three of us, right? I don't think that's ever going to happen. So IPA still, I guess if it's fair to say, I do now have IPA on draft here in the nice turn. So who
Deductive
would have thought that, right?
reasoning and
And a
real
great one at
time.
that.
One that we've had, I got a hazy snake handler here.
Yeah,
It
it's a
was my
good one.
third choice out of two. That will be a 7.3 for the Telltale Heart IPA from some brewery. Pick,
Yeah,
spin a
pick
wheel,
one.
pick
Somewhere in
one.
Maryland,
There you
Baltimore.
go.
Yeah,
Baltimore area. Definitely an interesting American IPA. If you've had it, as always, let us know what you think about it. Leave us a comment down below. Come say hey on our social media links down below as well. Or just jump into Discord. And we've got a Hopped Up Beer Review Discord channel there. We would love to see you there. Join us, chat about beer, chat about life, chat about whatever you want to. It's a chat room. Chat about tacos. That's been a
chat about
popular.
chatting.
Yeah, that's been a popular.
No more tacos.
No more tacos. Okay.
And Meebot can go to hell.
All right. If you're going to chat about tacos, then don't come in. You have any interest in any Hopped Up Beer Review merch? Link below down in the description. And lastly, if you have any interest in any of the glassware that we have here that we have purchased, we've got links for that merch, glassware, gear that we use to record the show. All that's down below in the description. Check out those links if you are interested. That's our show this time. Like, subscribe, cheers that notification bell. And hey, one of the things you definitely need to comment on somewhere, Andy's trying to join the craft beer beard club here. We need to know how that's going because we have our own thoughts, but we want to hear from you. So Andy, if you could, kind of give us a little, walk to the end of the runway model thing here, that'd be great.
Cheers, mates.
I just stopped shaving one day, and this is what happened.
Okay. So he's, we're going to give him his craft beer drinker card here pretty soon for the beard. But until then, appreciate you checking out this video.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mates.